I mean, I think you know a very large Chicago turnkey company that went down hard. And so all of the things that I've said, like a company that has a good track record and, you know, it has great reviews, that, you know, these are things to look for. This company had that. So what went wrong? You know, there's so many things that went wrong, and I don't know if I should or shouldn't say their name. What do you think?
I'd leave it off probably.
Leave it off. Okay. But this has happened to me with several property managers actually over the years. And I don't know specifically if this is what happened, but this is what appeared to happen, at least for part of it, is that they grew so quickly that they kind of overspent on the property management side. And again, I've seen this in lots of cases where there's a lot of work to property management, and it's a business. So if you're not really paying attention to the number of properties that any one person in the company would manage or oversee, and keeping your expenses low, well, what happens is I've seen property managers start to tap into the rental income to pay for the expenses of the property management company. And then, you know, it might be just day one of collections, they're kind of tapping into that. But then next month they need kind of day two as well. And then next thing you know, they're using the whole month's rent just to cover expenses. Or in some cases, someone's just embezzling. I mean, that's just a fact too. So what an investor needs to understand is if they're starting to see something weird happen, if they're starting to see their rents come in a little later, that during this coronavirus situation, we know there's other reasons why that might be happening. People are on payment plans and they're paying a little bit later. But if you've been receiving rents for a while and then all of a sudden it's coming a little bit later and it's coming a little bit later after that, you've got to really pay close attention, because we had people come to us and say, you know, I didn't get my rent for a couple months. And I'm like, why are you telling me this now? You know, we should have been talking about this the minute you didn't receive your rent or the minute it was a few days late. You know, this is where you start investigating. So a lot of people kind of go into passive income mode and like, I'm just going to get this mailbox money from my properties, and they don't even bother to look. And a lot of people are completely relying on this income. I mean, it's their income. They're retired. So they should be paying attention. It's their income. And it's not a lot of time. I'm talking about a few hours, you know, maybe an hour a week, a few hours a month to really be looking at your books and making sure everything's in line and working. But I had a lot of people not even realize they weren't receiving their rents before it was too late. And when the property management company folded, they didn't get it. Those rents were gone. And if they had just caught it a little bit earlier, they could have changed property managers right away or asked for the books. I mean, I should ask you, since you're a property manager, what can a tenant do to know that the company, the property manager is solid, that their books are solid? I mean, can we ask for an audit? How can we know that the money's going where it should be?
Well, I think number one thing that you should always do if you can't get money on between a 2 or 3 day period from a property manager on a monthly basis, or understand why you didn't get the money with advance notice, that's a big red flag right there. If you're already with them, you know, with going into business with a new company, just understanding their kind of their staff, their overall. You know, so you run into a lot of, and I'm sure you could contest this, you run into a lot of turnkey providers or places out-of-state investors are buying from, and they're really developers that think they have a property management entity.
Right. Yeah.
And you know, property management is a son of a gun business. I don't know how I got into it, but here I am. And the amount of work that goes into it and planning and
organization. Oh my
and
God.
trying not to be reactive all the time and be preventive. Like a lot of those developers they're looking for that $25,000 to $40,000 hit, and they think that they could just collect some rent on the side to be able to provide that entire turnkey package. So just understanding who your end property manager is, because they're ultimately, no matter what you buy that property for, even if you got it for $20,000 under value of what Zillow might say or your appraiser said, you know, if they can't manage it, they're not going. You're going to fail, or you're going to. The saddest thing I ever see in the company that you mentioned there, some of those people just kind of kept giving the benefit of the doubt, and they lost all their security deposits. Those were all taken. And then, you know, here managing a lot of those properties these days, and they're just bitter about real estate investing altogether. Like they lost their confidence in Chicago. They lost their confidence in property management. They lost their confidence in just investing in real estate in general. And that's sad when one company can really just kind of ruin your entire excitement. Everyone gets into real estate. They're very excited, right? You have 40,000 followers because this is an exciting topic. You're making money and real estate. You see a lot of fun commercials about people being successful in it. And they get that all taken away from them when they go to a bad property manager that goes downhill like that.
Yes. And it's happened to me and it didn't stop me. So I think people need to go into real estate understanding that it's a business and businesses have challenges. The exact same thing happened to me with my Cleveland property manager years ago, where I was exactly the person I was just telling you about. I just stopped paying attention. And there was a couple months there we weren't getting rent, but I didn't realize it. And it turns out the guy was embezzling. And that's easy to do when you've got a pile of money, when you've got all those security deposits sitting in a bank account. That's tempting to some people. So that was embezzled. We lost the security deposit. We lost 3 months rent. That was $900 a month rent. So it was a decent chunk of money lost. But we switched property managers. Everything got back up and running. That tenant has been there for 6 years now. And the property has tripled in value. And you know, we've had to repair the roof. We've had to do different things, but over time, you've got to look at the long term.
Yep.
It's the same if you have a business and you hire an employee and the employee's terrible and you need to fire them. Well, you lost some money with that employee. That's just how it is. Doesn't mean you shut down your business. So you've just got to look at real estate investing as a long term. Is the $4,000 or $5,000 I lost from that property manager really going to matter to me in 10 years? No, because I've used all the leverage. I borrowed money to buy the asset. Someone else is paying it off for me. It's going up in value. I keep all the upside. So I lost a little bit of money, but you know what? I tell people you keep $5,000 in a bank account for those types of things. Cause I guarantee you it's going to happen in some way or another. You're going to lose money some way. Either there's going to be a repair needed or a property manager problem, whatever. But you know, when that money's set aside, you use it, you forget about it, you move on. Just like once you're in business, our business is huge now. We have, 50,000 members and 25 employees, and it's a lot to deal with. And I'm a target. So we now have a budget for stupid lawsuits. It's just like, I just have to know that's part of the budget. It's just part of the budget. Somebody sued me for an investment we didn't even do. It was like not even a real wealth investment. But because I mentioned it was a good place to invest, I guess they named me for it. So I have to defend myself. I'm totally not guilty, but I have to pay to prove it. So we have a slush fund for that. It's just, again, it's just part of doing business. You just have to be a grown up, keep marching forward and know that in the long run, it's going to pay off. It's the long run that matters.
Yep.
Yeah. Real estate can be very forgiving over time. And it's going along those lines that Kathy mentioned that, to steal Eric Workman's quote, real estate's a full contact sport.